Holy cow! A new setup? Wait, holy cow. Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. I am so funny. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to Kaiju Box. I'm your host, Kaiju, and today we are going to be reviewing the Pink Floyd album, Atom Heart Mother. This is one that I feel like tends to get overlooked when it comes to the catalog of Pink Floyd albums. So let's jump right into it. Yo, what's up, boys? We're getting some food here at the Chick-fil-A. If you don't have Chick-fil-A where you live, then this whole section of the video won't make any sense. But odds are, 2 people will watch this video, and the chances of them knowing about Chick-fil-A are pretty high. But I'm really hungry, and so we had to get some food. Now, the thing of it is, typically, when you go to Chick-fil-A, when I go to Chick-fil-A, I like it to be the lunch time because I don't really like tater tots as much as French fries, because at the breakfast time they give you tater tots. Do you have chicken strips right now, or is that only during lunch?
That's only during lunch.
What's closest to that?
Nuggets.
Okay, what sizes do they come as?
5, 8, 12, and 30.
Remember when you used to order at that box right there?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Makes sense.
Victor. Turned it up. Thank you. Can you hold that? Or that? This one.
No, do you know what it was?
This.
World's first ASMR. It is. It was like relax.
Actually, I thought about that.
It was like beats to chill and study to while Alan cooks you breakfast.
Can you have 4 minutes to get that out for you?
What's that?
It's going to be a couple more minutes to get that out. If you don't like parking, you can stop and bring that out when it's ready.
VIP?
Yes.
Can I get an extra ranch with it?
Yes, sir. We'll put it in your bag.
Sweet.
Holy crap!
Yep. Thank you.
I can't wait for this 12-minute drive-thru experience to be cut down
They gave me French fries.
instead of tater tots.
Dude, I was talking about how I would prefer the French fries.
Well, you know why, right?
Why?
Because in the time it took us to go through that drive-thru, their breakfast ended.
Welcome back to Kaiju's Psychedelic Breakfast. Of course, we cannot review an album with a cow on the front without some Chick-fil-A. So today, I'm going to be consuming by the pound Chick-fil-A, which is cold by now because, well, as you saw previously, I had to go get it and everything. So that'll be in there somewhere. I don't know. I'll edit it together. But that was a while ago. I mean, that just happened literally like 2 seconds ago. You saw it, right? But they did a great job of just throwing the fries wherever they want. So we got a fry right here, and for those who don't know, the Chick-fil-A's got like these waffle fries. And then we got some chicken nuggets. What up? Last little bits at the bottom. So yummy. Oh man, I can't even describe how yummers that is. Okay. Gonna toss that aside for now. So Pink Floyd's Atom Heart Mother. Like I said, this album tends to get overlooked, I feel like. A lot of people say, hey, Pink Floyd, you know, we know the classics, we know Dark Side of the Moon, we know The Wall. And a lot of people would say Pink Floyd's good music starts at the next album, which came out in 1971. That is... Diet Dr. Pepper. That is the album Metal. Me personally, I would say Pink Floyd really found their sound with this album, Atom Heart Mother. Now, the title track, Atom Heart Mother, is this awesome, long epic of a piece. And that covers the entire first side of the album. It's about 23 minutes long. And so the title track and the title of the entire album, Atom Heart Mother, you know, it's a little bit interesting. Where did that title come from? At first, the way that I took it, before I really did some research on what the album is about, I guess, or where the title came from, you know, just the whole making of the album, I figured it was saying, you know, a mother is known for their heart and their care, but this mother has a heart the size of an atom, which is, as most people would know, extremely tiny. But no, it actually came from, it was a headline on a magazine, I think some British magazine, that I've never heard of, and it was the big letters right at the front, Atom Heart Mother, and it was about how a mom had some sort of new pacemaker, some new technology that hadn't been implemented before, that, I don't know, some nuclear pacemaker, I don't know, something like that, and that's where that title came from, though, and it was literally had nothing to do with what's on the cover, nothing to do with what the songs were about. It was literally just, hey, we're going to take this and we're going to put it as the title. I think originally, like, the orchestration, it was just called Untitled Epic. So we have this extremely drawn out epic on the first side, and it's amazing. What I really like about it is that it goes places you don't expect it to, if you know what I mean. A lot of chord progressions, even in Pink Floyd songs, which are more progressive in their writing, a lot of chord progressions, you can have a semi-guess as to where they're going. And that's because pop music, you know, has sort of infiltrated all music, and the simplicity is everywhere. But with this chord progression, especially in where the bass goes, which Roger Waters plays the bass on this song, that's mainly all he does, it's fantastic to be thrown off, especially when you first hear it, where the chord progression goes. I don't know how to explain it any further than that. If you're interested, I would recommend you go and listen to the album, especially before actually watching this review. The album's about 50 minutes long overall. Maybe just listen to the title track if you don't want to listen to an hour-long album. Let's check out these chicken nuggets right here. Buffalo sauce, that's my favorite. There's a reason that this restaurant is so popular. It's insane. So what's interesting is some pop songs, especially in the 60s, they would put the instruments at the forefront. You know, your typical set when it comes to a band. And then they would have these backing tracks that were comprised of orchestration. It's a really cool style. Puts the instruments in the forefront, but then you have something to sort of round out the song. Pink Floyd sort of does the reverse. You have the orchestration up front. Got something stuck in my tooth. You have the orchestration up front, and the musicians sort of taking the background. And I absolutely adore David Gilmour's guitaring on this song. It's very clean, you know. A lot of bands are known for their distortion on their guitars and their solos. But the clean guitar on this song stands out so much. And that's something that David Gilmour, of course, would carry forward into metal and going forward. And I love it, though. It's sort of the 5-minute mark, I'd say. Maybe a little earlier. Maybe like 3 to 4 to 5. We have this section that goes away from the brass that the song starts with and leans into the guitar playing and the bass together. And that section, it's so short, and it comes back later towards the end, but it's amazing. And I know that they don't want to linger on it too much, because if you linger on a single part of a song, especially in an epic, it will start to get boring. But sometimes I just want to repeat that part over and over again. It sort of makes the song. And from there, we go into a section that has a choir. This is a 16-piece choir. And that's not something you typically see in a rock song. I mean, progressive more so. But the choir just pairs so well. It's dark, it's moody. And from that moody section, which lasts a while, it's drawn out, you know. We're starting to get tired of it. Then it hits us with this very funky section. The bass is very in the forefront of it. And we got really nice organ performed by Richard Wright. Or maybe it's an electric piano. But it pairs well, very well. And I love that part, honestly. It's really cool. I mean, a lot of epics, you know, they've got certain sections, and this one is divided into, I think, 6 parts. But each individual section flows very well together into each part, and they all feel connected in a way that, you know, sometimes is hard to achieve when making these longer songs. Like Rush's 2112, which is another epic that I really like. It's very distinct in being separate. It's almost like a handful of songs meshed into one. But this song flows together very well, and I think that's something that Pink Floyd would carry forward into their epics later, like Shine On Your Crazy Diamond, where the whole song has a cohesive theme throughout the entire runtime, and it flows together very well. And I mean, it's their standard sort of pairing as to what each instrument is trying to achieve. I think that this is a very good basis for what they would go, or for what they would do going forward. So that's why I would say that this epic, you know, it being really important to the catalog and as to what was going to come forward when it comes to their albums. So many elements of how Gilmour and Waters pair together with their bass and guitar, and how, you know, guitar may be more of the focus, but neither one of them sort of overshadow each other. That's something that is hard to achieve in bands where every single instrument has a time to shine, and every single musician is important in the band, even the drumming. It seems a lot of times Pink Floyd can make the drumming, you know, be less important. It's just there to keep time, not to be interesting. But I feel like the drums are really important in this song, especially with like the beginning, the pounding of the brass section of this song. It's very, very cool to see how the drums pair with that brass section. I think that's amazing. And you don't see a lot of brass in rock music. I think it's something that is completely overlooked. It sounds fantastic, especially on a later track in the album, Summer of '68, which was actually written and sung by the keyboardist and pianist from the band, Richard Wright. He doesn't really get a lot of time to shine, and we'll get to that in just a second because we're going to go in chronological order for each track. Dude, this chicken. Oh no. Fantastic. Gotta get a little bit of ranch here. And buffalo. A total savage. You don't get much with Chick-fil-A, but what you do get is very good. They should open like a buffet. They'd rule the world. Okay. So moving on. That's side 1. A fantastic epic stretching 23 minutes long. Starting with side 2, we have the very heartwarming If. It's sort of interesting. It's something that Ummagumma did, which was their previous album, where they've got sort of a more focused first half, and then the second half, each musician was kind of like, all right, I'm going to write one song, you write a song, you write a song, and then we're just going to each play them. So If is Roger Waters' song, and it's on acoustic guitar, and it's sort of like a love song, I guess. It's deep in its lyrics, but at the same time, you know, it may be heartfelt, but it's easy to understand. And it's very simple throughout the entire song. And on sort of like after each, I want to say, verse, we get David Gilmour playing a very simple, more distorted guitar part. And it's not like he's going crazy or anything, but it really plays to the lyrics, you know. The lyrics are very simple in what they're saying. And so is the guitar part that's paired with it. It's a very simple song, and it doesn't have a lot going for it. Yeah, it's something you could put in the background and just listen to. It's sort of, I guess, has the same DNA as a lot of songs that would be that Roger Waters would write later for The Wall. And that's why I think it's important, you know? It's important to what would come later. And I don't want to discredit the album in its own individual right, saying, oh, well, it's only important because it set the groundwork for what was going to come later, because it's great. But it's very easy to see how later works, you know, The Wall coming out 9 years later would be inspired by what they did in this album. And sort of the acoustic parts, like this song especially reminds me of Goodbye Blue Sky off of The Wall, and its simplicity and its length. I mean, this one's more 5 minutes long, but it doesn't do a lot throughout its entirety, and I think that's okay, because we have a lot of complexity with the orchestration on the first side, and then we open up with something that's a lot more soft and a lot more heartfelt in its lyrics. Well, the side A doesn't have any lyrics at all, so there's that. But I really like If, like I said, that's a good one to play on in the background. Get another fry here. You guys drink diet soda ever? I kind of like got used to the taste of diet soda and no longer drink regular soda because it tastes weird to me. All right. Summer 68. Best song on the album, hands down. The chorus, man, it hits so hard. Again, as I said earlier, because of the brass. Richard Wright is a highly underrated singer. I wish they'd used him more. It's got a really nice harmonies, you know, harmonies that Pink Floyd would be known for later, like in Dark Side of the Moon. And he's just a fantastic singer. He's very soft-spoken, whereas Roger Waters is a lot more gritty and, I guess, showy. But Richard Wright's a lot more laid back. And I love this song, even in its harshness in the chorus. How do you feel? And all this, the horns just screaming. It's what I would classify as a banger, and it's a lot more heavy. And I can see, I guess, inspiration from King Crimson, the album that had been released in the previous year in 1969, In the Court of the Crimson King, and how that would have inspired this song. Now, they're both British bands. I don't know how they might be linked as far as inspiration goes. But I feel like maybe, you know, the band was listening to what was, you know, making it big in the progressive scene in England at this time and thinking, well, what can we take from that? And, you know, that's sort of what happened. A lot of these bands inspired each other going back and forth. And that's why there's so much similar music at this time, but very great nonetheless. The song's about 5 minutes long as well. And like I said, it's my favorite on the album. Richard Wright, highly underrated. So coming into the next song here. You know, this chicken reminds me a lot of this album because it's good. And this album is also good. So, correlation there. Fat Old Son is another more slow song. It's kind of interesting. Because you think, alright, well, we picked up steam with Summer 68. We're going to continue that through the end of the album. We had our slow song. No, it's another slow song. And honestly, I think this is the weakest track on the album. I personally would if I was not listening to the album in its entirety in one sitting, probably skip past it. It's David Gilmour's contribution as his individual song. But I think the only good part of it, as far as it like the whole song goes, is the solo at the end. It's probably the highlight when it comes to Gilmore's guitar playing on the album, even though I really like what he does in the title track. But yeah, that guitar solo makes the song. Otherwise, I would probably not listen to it. It's pretty repetitive, you know. I don't know. I don't have much more to say than that about it. But what I do have to say is what the final track does. Pink Floyd at this time, what were they trying to do? They were trying to revolutionize something. I don't know. They were trying to come up with some insane new thing that everybody could do. So what did they do? What did they experiment with? Well, they experimented with none other than the final track on the album, which spans 12 minutes long, called Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast. Apparently Alan was somebody that worked with them on their tours, and they recorded, it was either him or someone else with the team, cooking breakfast and eating it. Who would ever pair art with eating? That's just disgusting and gross. So, that part, this whole song, is just gross and boring and ugly and stupid and also dumb. In all honesty, I think this is a really cool track, actually. I was talking about it with my brother, and he was saying that this was the first ASMR recording because it's very close and personal with the dude cooking his egg and eating his food, him talking about what he wants to eat. But honestly, I think it's important because it laid the foundation for more experience-focused music, because there's a lot of talking in the song. That is something that is completely a character in Dark Side of the Moon, where you have the speech mixed with what's going on around it to tell a story in a sorts. And that's what happens here. You have this dude talking about what he wants to eat for breakfast, paired with very fancy sounding piano and very soft, nostalgic guitar parts, you know, very acoustic. And it makes this very weird experience. But at the same time, it sticks out in my memory, and I remember certain sections of it because it was extremely memorable in what it tried to achieve. It's weird, and it's not something that's sort of like, I'm going to put this on at a party and we're going to jam out to it. But at the same time, it's memorable in what it does, and I think more people should listen to it. It's a very weird way to end the album. If I were them, I would have probably switched Psychedelic Breakfast and Fat Old Son and sort of ended with that awesome guitar solo that I talked about. But overall, this hour-length 5-track album is very good. I was surprised because a lot of their older music I am not a fan of. It's either boring or weird, but they really set themselves up because they made Ummagumma, which is infamously horrible. You know, I've tried to listen to it and I can't get through it all the way. So anything they would release after that had to have been better, right? So they basically just set themselves up to make a great album. But Atom Heart Mother as a whole, I think it's something that people should listen to, especially if they consider themselves Pink Floyd fans and never go back and listen to the older things. I think it's at the same level as metal for me, honestly. I think that the epic is something that's worth going all the way through, even though it's 23 minutes long. And that standout tracks like Summer 68 should be listened to on repeat and put on any Pink Floyd playlist, any Discovery, anything like that. It should be listened to because it's a great album and I think you shouldn't overlook it. Guys, I'm really glad that you watched the video and tuned in for a fat, gross guy eating some chicken and talking about an old album that nobody cares about. I know I'm sort of doing the most broad audience video in the world right now. So, thanks for watching all this video. I've got more album reviews coming out soon. I promise I won't be eating in them. This was sort of a joke that lasted the entire video. I should be quiet and shut up now. I'm gonna let you guys go. It's been real. Go listen to the album. I promise good things. And I will see you next time.